In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the ogres are described as giant humanoids with muscular bodies and huge heads, with tusk-like teeth capable of crushing bone. They're usually around 10 feet tall, creatures who rely on their strength for almost everything. Though they're technically giantkin, they're usually looked down upon by full-blooded giants, used for menial labor or as frontline combat and dispensable guards, rather than full members of a giant's clan. They're lazy, brutish, and have quick tempers that are fueled by their lack of intelligence, leading them to picking almost as many fights with each other as they do with non-ogres. Their brutish nature may have something to do with their alleged father, Vaprak the Destroyer, who had an affair with the giant mother goddess Ophia, spawning the first ogres. He's known as an interloper god within the giant pantheon, and urges his spawn to violence and greed, as is his domain. However, post-Spell Plague, his portfolio had been merged with Grumsh, one of the Orcish prime deities, and his power and influence has shifted away from his true children, leading to some ogres worshipping the giant pantheon of their mother, or the very giants who they consider kin. The standard ogre has an AC of 11 and 59 HP with 40-foot movement speed. They have great physical stats and absolutely god-awful mental stats, as well as dark vision that pairs very poorly with their lack of perception. In combat, they can make a single great club attack dealing 6 to 20 damage, or a javelin toss dealing 6 to 16. As a DM, I would use an ogre either as a low-level encounter or as a supplement to a higher-level encounter dealing with giants. If on their own, I would have the ogres trying to attack in melee as much as they can, as this attack deals far more damage, saving javelins for ranged casters or those they can't ever hope to reach. If working alongside giants, I would likewise have them acting as frontline infantry, charging up to players and attacking with melee, blocking access to their giant kin while those giants throw rocks, boulders, or cast magic as appropriate. Once the final ogre falls, the giants would then move in to attempt to finish the players off, or flee to find a better, more advantageous battleground. In mythology, the idea of an ogre is common across many different cultures, all of whom describe such creatures as large, hideous, man-like half-giant creatures who eat humans and livestock, usually with a particular taste for children. They feature in countless tales that act as cautionary tales to keep children away from dangerous locales such as mountains, dark forests, and the like. While the Japanese have the Oni, the pre-Islamic Arabians have the ghouls, and many Europeans have creatures similar to the Cyclops, Grendel from Beowulf, and so on, the actual word ogre is derived from the French Ogre, an offshoot of the Etruscan god Orcus, who was a monstrous humanoid who ate human flesh, and who is, of course, featured in D&D. Most scholars believe that the origin could also be from the biblical Og, last of the giants. However, there are many other more ancient sources that use similar descriptions and similar names. The creature itself became more popular in literature in the mid-1600s, when French authors of fairy tales used the term and its female equivalent ogress to describe large cannibalistic humanoid monsters that attack men, women, and children. In comparing the monster to the myth, we find that the ogre of D&D and the ogre of myth are basically the same. Both are large giantkin who consume human flesh, with violent tempers and an intellect to match. Regardless of the actual origin, the ogre makes for a big, stupid monster with a reasonable AC and lots of HP. The perfect monster for low-level bosses, or minions for the more powerful monsters in D&D. If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like and comment below, and consider subscribing to the channel. You can also join the Patreon for $1 a month to access videos days before they're posted here, as well as other exclusive stuff like short stories, videos, and more.